of the Summer Skirmish Grand Finals qualifiers. Courage. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for day 2 of the Summer Skirmish Grand Finals qualifiers. Courage. Joined by Dr. Lupo. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Yesterday was fantastic. The start of 4 days of competitive Fortnite, playing for $1.5 million
in prize money. And it's fun through and through. So far, PAX West has been a blast. And I'll say, we had a fantastic crowd yesterday, but this place is literally packed to the brim. There is still a line out the door, standing room only. I told this crowd to get loud tonight. I'm not going to lie to everybody at home, but I want to test them right now. Ladies and gentlemen in the venue, how are we feeling tonight? Oh my goodness, I'm getting hot and bothered. I'm getting hot and bothered, Lupo.
Well, I can feel it, Jack.
Oh yeah, in a good way, in a good way.
The excitement here is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's really excited to see some gameplay today. And we have this evening, day 2, like you said, of the final week of Summer Skirmish. We got 4 games coming at you this evening. It's gonna be crazy.
So yesterday we saw 33 players qualify for the grand finals on Monday. Tonight we'll find out 33 more, and the best part is, you can still register.
You can indeed.
And make it on in potentially if you get here tomorrow bright and early. Ben, walk us through it.
If you are here in Seattle at PAX West, there's a couple steps, 3 very easy ones. First, come on down to PAX Lot 73 with your PAX West badge, enter the registration line, and sign up. People have been gathering around 6 a.m. in the morning. They're very excited to get in. Step 2, if you do get in, you're registered, show up. You got to check in at your designated check-in time on the 2nd floor of the convention center. And the most important step, in my opinion, Courage, is you got to play. Hop onto your designated computer, configure your settings, and get ready to play. It's go time.
These are not your average Fortnite games. Some of the best players in the world have traveled here from across everywhere, it seems, making sure they can compete for this ridiculous amount of prize money. And, you know, on my end, Dr. Lupo, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, you know, it would have been fun to play him, but at the same time, it would have been fun to play him, but at the same time, I'm happy I'm cast.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to stay safe up on the desk because some of these players, a lot of these players, every single one of these players has the ability to, the forethought, the abilities that they show when they play. The building is incredible and the fast edit stuff that, it's an excellent show. It's a show of skill, and if you're at home when you're watching, you're trying to figure out how to improve your own gameplay, events like this is where to do it. Keep your eyes open for it, okay?
Watch the best in the world, learn from it. Now, this is day 2. If you missed yesterday, don't worry. We've got you covered. Production put together a nice little day 1 recap. Let's have a watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Seattle. $1.5 million on the line. It's been nuts. And this is the only thing going on here. Go play at the Lazy Lakes mini golf course. We played last night. I won't spoil what happened.
Tons of competitors coming out here to put on a good show. Play looks like he's looking for a snipe shot. You see him he's jumping and whipping back. Here it comes. Oh! There it is. Replays with the headshot. He's going for it. You see every time.
He got it. He got it.
Right there, gets the shot. What a fast edit. He doesn't even run. 5 HP remaining.
Even he didn't believe it.
Sneaks inside.
side and gets the Elin, puts him at 6. The second one on Powder, 2 HP remaining. Are you kidding me?
7 limbs this game, and there he goes!
Goes down to Blue T. What a finish.
Wow, look at the extreme joy that came from Blue T. He's a pro.
Confident.
2 players remaining. Without a case, but there's the engagement trying to build on up. A quick shotgun blast. The second comes in as well. Brandon down to just 54 HP. The zone's closing on in. He's got to go for this right now. Brandon dropping on in. 72 hours into the zone.
Oh, are you kidding me?
With 3 HP. Second layer. Third layer. Trying to spot where he is. Nothing yet. Here comes the spray. He's in the 1x1. The spray down. Down to just 40 HP. The clock is ticking. He's got to make something happen. He knows he's tagged the health. He tagged the HP. He knew he had the advantage. That's all he needed to do.
Rank 1 for Fulmer there. The last second damage play. Well done.
What a day we just had ourselves, Lupo. And the brilliant part of it, we get to do it all again tomorrow. It all culminates here at PAX West. We'll see you then. A brilliant look back at day 1 of the competition. I know many of the players who qualified are here live today watching. 72 Hours, who wound up getting first yesterday in the heats. He's down low, looking at him. I keep reminding him that we're better players than him.
Absolutely.
As often as I can.
Jack, I'm going to level with you. No, we're not. Some of the plays that we've seen from some of these players, especially 72 Hours. 72 Hours, Blue T, everyone that came away with wins in the games yesterday, those rotations, the decision to move outside of the zone at just the right time, the fast edits, the accuracy, the scary accuracy from some of these players, it's intimidating.
The double storm play he made to secure the 1 victory was absolutely nuts. Talked about everywhere on the competitive Fortnite Reddits. But there's a lot going on here at PAX West, a lot going on with Fortnite. We want to catch you guys up to speed with the schedule, how all the players even made it to this point. The day 2 qualifiers, it began very early today. They lined up, earned their spots in either heat 1, 2, or 3. In those respective heats, Lupo, 32 players move on to the qualifiers, which take place tonight. What we'll be casting. Then they played 2 games to earn their spot. Tonight, we'll play 4.
The top 33 from the games this evening, they move on to the grand finals Monday for $1.5 million. Now on your screen, you see the format. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. These are the important pieces. Those scoring pieces there are deciding quite a bit about how players are playing. Top 10 gets you a point. If you make it all the way to 3rd or 2nd, you get 2. And if you get the Victory Royale Courage, you come away with 3. But that's not the only way to get points. Eliminations count as well. 1 and 2 is fantastic. They do help decide tiebreakers, but 3 to 4 elims is 1, 5 to 6 is 2, and if you break 7 or more eliminations, that's 3 points.
And again, right now we are in those qualifiers for day 2. Another set of qualifiers in day 3 will happen tomorrow to determine our total players that will play in the grand finals on Monday, where we will have $1.5 million on the line. A ridiculous prize pool. Let's take a look at how it all breaks down. Ben, Dr. Lupo, this is a life-changing amount of money.
First place is $225,000. If you get top 5, it's 6 figures no matter what. And if you, regardless of how you place in the grand finals, just making it alone is $5,000. Yep. $5,000, Courage.
So basically, you come here, you play in a weekend of Fortnite, you win at least $5 grand if you make it to the grand finals. But again, either way, ridiculous prize breakdown. What a scenario and what scenes it will be for the players who come out on top there, who can really make a name for themselves, because that's the big thing as well. In such an inclusive event like this here at PAX West, at the finale of the Summer Skirmish, this is now 8 weeks of competitive matches. We've seen new names rise to the top, people who, honestly, I had never heard of prior to the Summer Skirmish, now have shown how good of players they are to the point where they're picked up by professional organizations. Incredible stories we're seeing for some of these players out there.
Everyone's putting on a really good show. You've got players coming away with double-digit eliminations over the course of their matches. I think yesterday we saw Turkey Lips drop 14 total over 4 games. That's some really impressive gameplay. We've seen a number of players with 6 or more multiple times in a row. We've also seen the opposite of that. We've seen people pushing as hard as they can get that 3rd elimination for the single point and falling short just barely. But those people, that level of determination, that's going to make them push forward, keep trying to go for the elimination count for that single point, place top 10, get another point. Because we've seen from these qualifiers, Courage, yesterday that it doesn't take a lot of points to get into the grand finals.
That was the next thing I was going to bring up. Yeah.
We have people, I believe 33rd yesterday in those qualifiers had 1 point and 5 eliminations, and that was enough to put them into the grand finals on Monday.
That's the crazy thing. We have so many tiebreaker scenarios that come on in. That was such a good point to bring up because, yes, 33rd, the last spot to qualify, across 4 games, only earned 1 point, which is crazy to see. It went to the tiebreakers, but either way, we've had a ton of action so far today. Prior to the stream starting it up, we had 3 different heat winners, just like yesterday. We have to introduce you to them. These are the names to look out for today. Heat 1 early on, OT Divine. Heat 2 winner, Kevy. And then Heat 3 winner was Monster, someone that I've played with multiple times in the past. Chance, good dude, but here's Divine, 5 elims, and yesterday, every time we saw the Heat winners, they finished with 5 elims as well.
Exactly, it's a recurring theme, but you see the placement down there. OT Divine absolutely dominant in both of his games, 3rd and a win among the 2 games. And here, the finish of his matches, it's crazy to think that's consistency. 3rd and a victory is something we have not seen yet in these heats, and it's I think that means Divine's definitely a player to keep your eye on.
Yeah, I think you know, 72 Hours, who got first last night, was probably the most consistent player I saw at overall placings.
Exactly.
So far to this point, but a 3rd and 1st is darn good in those early heats. What a victory there.
The outside through the storm, not the first time we've seen gameplay like that. It's funny, you're just talking about 72 Hours, and he's not the only one that knows good timings to rotate out. Even before that, one of the matches before, we saw Jack do something similar. Jack, wonderful plays from everybody.
Yep.
Kevy here, 6 eliminations. Look at the number of buildings, though. 728, the highest we've seen thus far. And between these 2 games, Kevy utilized 92% of his 7,766 gathered resources.
He must have landed in like whaling by himself.
He just rebuilt Tilted Towers somewhere.
There you go, made some renovations. That was our Heat 2 winner. A look at some of the gameplay from there. As you can see, just how hectic these final storms can be when the zone's moving and everyone's got to make plays. You got to see. Here's a look at him here. One quick cleanup. And then again, the player pushing close. One thing we've learned, Dr. Lupo, that double-barrel shotgun is everything in these late-game scenarios.
Up close, it's extremely lethal. If you're within, I would even say, pickaxing distance, that's the optimal time to pull the thing out and put and acquire an elimination or 2.
There you go. As we head on over to our Heat 3 winner, Monster. He had 5 elims, 352 buildings built. Placed 1st in Game 1, but was eliminated 68th in Game 2. But that shows you, literally, 1 monster game was enough to put him on through. That happened actually last night. Wheats, one of our players, had 0 points going into our 4th and final game, then earned himself, I believe, 5 points in that final one alone. And that put him in like 8th. So he was nowhere even on the board. Next thing you know, 1 strong game can make all the difference. And that's the beauty of it. No matter who you're a fan of, no matter who you're rooting for, even if they struggle for the majority of the day, 1 pop-off performance can be enough to send them to Monday.
I think that should be at least a little bit of motivation for players that have, like you said, concerning gameplay earlier in their games. Look forward to the next one, because it does not mean you're out. You capitalize on optimal situations. You find times to third party. You gatekeep in the appropriate ways and push in with a storm. Maybe keep people on the outside. You can take advantage of those, pull away a couple points, and make your way to the grand finals.
Absolutely, and that's the story we told yesterday. Again, as the day goes on, we'll keep you up to date in standings, where people are, who's moved on, who's qualified. Get involved in the conversation, though. We said it yesterday. Tag us, go ahead, send us who your predictions are. A lot of people thought Vivid was going to be someone who's going to make a ton of noise, and unfortunately for him, yesterday did not go his way. Hashtag SummerSkirmish online. Who are your favorites to potentially win this weekend and take home the majority of that $1.5 million in prizes up for grabs?
Now, like you mentioned Vivid, there are a number of players we've seen in previous events too that there's been a lot of weight on them, a lot of pressure, 100%. A lot of focus on them, and maybe they don't perform as well as some people expect them to. But that doesn't say anything about their own personal skill. In certain situations, it could be poor decision making, something like that. Maybe too much pressure, not enough sleep, something like that. We've seen Vivid perform in the past. 4 of the previous 7 weeks, he won SummerSkirmish. That's a statement, Jack. That's a statement.
That most certainly is. Now, back in Heat 1, you saw a little highlight of Marksman actually winning one of those games, earning the Victory Royale. We caught up with him earlier today.
most beneficial skill I have is my mind, I guess. Just the thought process I go to and trying to strategize to win is going to help me the most. I never say that I'm like the best builder, or some people are known for building. I'm not. Some people are known for crazy plays and aim. I try to make them when I can. Like, I want to go for awesome plays, but at the same time, I think strategy is one of the most important things in the game. First game and second game, I got lucky on the zone, and that matters a lot just because it gives you time to mine up a lot of mats. One of the big mistakes people make is they don't rotate early, and if they don't do it early enough, right now at least, how people are playing, you get caught out fighting with maybe 2 or 3 people on the edge of the zone, but also the people that did rotate early will shoot back at you. And that gives you a really easy chance to pick off kills if you can third-party people and just get a few shots in. I've done YouTube and live streaming for a long time as just a content creator, and I've done it for fun. It's been my job and my livelihood, but I'm also a really competitive person, played with a lot of competitive friends, and I never got into it enough to really want to compete because I didn't have a team. But in a game like this where I can play solos, where I can play duos with one of my teammates now, I want to prove that I can win. You know, I like to make videos and I like to have fun, but I want to play in a strategic way and try to play smart. That's how I win games. That's how I'll advance. I want to prove that I'm good enough to win as well.
Some quality words from Marksman there, and I think it sums up a lot of the sentiments people have shared so far about competitive Fortnite. The beauty of really, you can play solo, you can play duo, you can play in squad. There's all sorts of different formats coming up through tests each week on what could potentially be a great competitive format for Fortnite, but also the solo showdowns online. That's how a lot of these top players have been found. Literally booting up your game, playing, competing against the best is your road to potentially being in Marksman's shoes here on the main stage.
I think that shows that Fortnite is the kind of game that anybody has an opportunity if they take advantage of the timing. If they're really, really good, they put a lot of their time into it and practice like crazy, Jack. Anybody, like you said, the everyman can show up at an event like this, come away with $225,000 if they take first place in the grand finals. Fortnite's it's crazy.
Yeah,
that kind of situation. No other game, I feel like, it has put such focus on anybody can win.
Yep, and I love it, and that's what makes it so interesting to watch. If you're wondering, game number 1, it will be starting up very, very soon. One thing I do want to cover is some of the meta plays we saw last night. For people at home who might be tuning into competitive Fortnite for the first time, what are some of the drastic differences they might experience watching this versus maybe watching some of their favorite players stream and pub stomp at home?
Pub stomping. Public matches are definitely very different. I think the pace is much higher, and here in competitive play, things are a little slower. They're a little more methodical. It's definitely not a slow approach to the game. It's strategic. You want to wait for the right opportunities. With gameplay like this, Jack, you have a lot of competitive players that are playing almost perfectly constantly, and it's the almost part that matters, because when your opponents make mistakes, a good player, a truly competitive player, will know when to take advantage of that. They'll take their shots at just the right time during rotation. They'll watch for mid-engagement and third-party and not expose themselves. And you don't really see that in competitive gameplay, or public match gameplay like you do in competitive. Competitive is very much about the right timing on mistakes of your opponents.
100%. And like 90% of engagements in competitive seem to also battle around fast edits.
Oh, yeah.
Catching your opponent off guard. It is nuts how it all plays out. Again, we've been mentioning how much action there is going on here at PAX West with Fortnite. Not only is it the Summer Skirmish kind of grand finals, but for folks who want to have some fun, we have an entire Lazy Links mini golf course. And actually, prior to any of the broadcasts starting, me, you, and Zeke headed on over. We had a nice little friendly competition, and it's time to be revealed to the world who wound up winning. Let's watch.
If you guys play mini golf like you do Fortnite, I mean, you're pretty much going to lose to me, so...
Oh, come on, Zeke.
That's just pretty much...
Bro.
Wow.
Gentlemen.
Wow.
Take your clubs. Loser has to admit that they are the worst Fortnite player in this group.
All right, so...
I'm in. I'm in.
Am I hitting first?
Yes.
Are you actually stretching right now? Like this is going to matter?
Sorry?
Is this the first time you've ever stretched your entire life?
Okay, that's actually... Bang, baby!
3, keep going.
Oh, it's still go.
You have finished it out. Big swing and a miss coming in here from Jack. The expectation is nothing but net, but he misses because he doesn't know geometry.
Technique's important, Jack, all right? It's not like building one-by-ones out here, buddy. You got to actually hit your shots.
No! That's so much trash talk for a miss.
All right, 3.
That is a par
You
3.
actually got 3?
3.
Currently,
I'm average.
Gotta hold this for me.
Wait.
Wow. And that's
Oh,
1.
okay, yes.
Sorry, wait, let me reset my mind. I'm thinking like courage. Okay, think like Lupo. Okay.
Swing number 3. Okay.
Dude,
Okay.
it's not that challenging.
Partying inside the battle bus, Zeke. All right, give him a break.
Oh,
Wow,
my
dude.
gosh. No. He has to get like. Oh,
All right, I'll take my
next hole.
6.
Next
I'll
hole.
take my 6.
Literally next hole.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Oh, wait, isn't this wet paint?
It's called carpet.
Oh, okay, good.
Mark, it's carpet.
Cut this.
Please say this is staying in, especially this part.
Cut that from the video.
There it is.
You're kidding me.
First
You're
try.
acting so stupid. Bro, if I was born in the 70s too, I'd be good at golf.
Oh! Yeah.
Okay, so next up, we're going next hole.
What?
Yeah.
Guys, it doesn't get better than this.
You can watch this. I'm guaranteeing a hole in one. You guys got this on camera, right?
Guaranteed.
All right, guarantee it.
we-
You got to get it up the little incline.
You forget how strong I am.
Legend.
You forget how physically strong I am as a
Okay.
being. What?
Yeah.
I don't do well with fall damage. How am I supposed to hit this?
Oh. Courage, we need you for tomorrow. Please don't die.
Don't hurt yourself. Good thing we won't have to worry about that.
Oh.
What?
Ooh.
No.
Way, dude.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Oh, no way. No way.
For the birdie, no pressure.
Yeah, dude. Let's go.
Okay, so now Greasy is my main. I'm part of the Greasy boys.
Just gave the Durburger a kiss.
Kiss for good luck,
It's
baby.
so sweet.
Oh, dude. Don't show where it comes out of. Don't show the hole.
Oh, what is that? Okay.
Get off me, bro.
Okay.
Get off me, bro.
Okay.
Seriously?
That is a 2 for Courage. To you. And okay, you got it. All right. There it is.
Next time you stretch, check to see if those jeans come in a larger size. They don't, apparently. Great.
Oh, that was so bad. The tongue didn't even go back on the green.
Now look where it's
You
trying.
gotta hit it from there. You gotta hit it from there.
You gotta hit it from there, dude.
You gotta hit it from there, bro.
there?
Play it,
You
play it where
can't
it
stand on
stands.
it, that little break.
We need to put you in the toddler division.
Okay. Okay.
Jack, we made a mistake. When we got him a golf club, we grabbed one of the adult-sized ones.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
The drama.
All right. I'll take my 6.
It literally is the way of the road.
The way
Speaking
of
of the way of the road, we're here at Paradise Palms. The way of the road. Come on, baby. 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 Come here, boy.
Let's go. No way. Let's go.
No
Let's
way.
go.
Oh.
Don't zoom in with the camera like I'm gonna miss again.
No! Oh my God. Oh my God. There you go, bud. 5. Zeke now looking for redemption. A
Big
brilliant
swing.
shot. An absolute.
Yeah.
Zeke,
This is rigged.
Zeke falls to the same folly as Dr. Lupo. Unbelievable. It's aggressive.
Oh,
There it is.
Okay. No.
that's called art. Way of the road. Here we go.
All right, now
Come on,
random
Ben.
pipe.
Go in the hole. Go.
No, imagine. Oh my God. He couldn't fail that hard. Oh my gosh.
Okay, if that had landed on the course, that would have counted.
No way. That's a beautiful hit. That's actually a really good hit.
No.
Oh. Come here, you need a hug after that. You need CHR. Lupo, you finished with a total of 33.
I did. It feels good.
I finished with a total of 31.
Zeke,
Zeke, you got 43.
we did have a bet here, Zeke.
I guess go ahead and zoom in real close for this. I am the worst Fortnite player amongst this group of beautiful people.
If you get a hole-in-one while you're playing the course this weekend at PAX, make sure you tag us on Twitter. Hashtag SummerSkirmish. Hashtag I hit a better shot than Zeke because I'm better at putt-putt.
I'm gonna go shower because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
I'm decent at Fortnite. I'm dummy thick, and I'm also the
you are-
best at mini golf.
You're absolutely dominant on the putt-putt course,
Thank you,
my friend.
Thank you so much. Again, Zeke, good job. That was a great effort, I think. But no, that was a ton of fun. Again, I think a lot of people here had the chance to play. They literally built an entire functioning mini golf course, which is just ridiculous.
9 holes, yeah.
One of the experiences. You got to get out to these events. We had, well, I mean, you think back to the Pro-Am back at E3 and what all happened there in the booth.
It's getting crazier literally
the party
every
itself,
event.
It's just been nuts. I don't know what's to come next, but I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready.
Yeah, it's on top of that, we have gameplay here that you won't see anywhere else. Competitive players playing out of their minds. So you have the entertainment side, the shenanigans of PAX West and the golf course. But let's be honest, Courage, I am looking most forward to the 4 games this evening, the 4 games tomorrow, and the grand finals on Monday for $1.5 million. The pressure that these players must be feeling. Now, if you're listening, I'm really sorry for mentioning it, not to let it get to you, but it's got to be through the roof.
Oh, it's absolutely nuts. I mean, there's been so many things I've enjoyed about the event so far. For one, it's a lot of it's meeting the people who have obviously been watching online, keeping up with the players. Some guys that have never followed a competitive like esport before, you could say, and have now really had their kind of getting their feet wet with Fortnite, seeing their favorite players. And they're not only watching, top streamers now, but they're also watching just top competitive players, people who are the most dominant at the game, the 0.1%. And meeting them, talking with them, hearing their favorites, it's just fun to see how it continues to develop. Who got picked up for this team? Who's going on this lineup? I can't believe this guy placed here. We're going to keep seeing more and more of it, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
I also enjoy the fact that a lot of these players have had conversations openly with fans and their competition about strategy. You see people comparing what the current meta is, what the best way to edit and box opponents, and how to outplay each other. That camaraderie, I love it. I love that about Fortnite and the competitive scene right now, and everyone is here to try and build each other up. What a pun. My apologies. I didn't even think about it. But at the same time, they all want to win. They all want to dominate the competition. They all have a little bit of a secret in their back pocket. And the play has been fantastic.
Oh, for sure. And we've also seen with the weapons people are using. I mean, we had 72 hours win a game last night, earn a victory royale with 2 drum guns, 3 healing items. You've obviously seen the sniper play from phase replays, how good Splodes can be. It's like, it's whatever you can get your hands on, obviously you're going for, to up whatever weapons you can upgrade, but there's certain ways people utilize certain weapons to just catch your opponent off guard. It's cool to see, but either way, there's so much stuff still going on here. I believe we've got actually a cool little thing to show off right now. If you've been paying close attention to social media and Fortnite across all the platforms, something was mentioned for the limited time mode coming out next week called High Stakes. Well, I've got a little bit more information for you here. Again, Fortnite presents High Stakes. If you missed the news yesterday, next week a new event debuts in Fortnite titled High Stakes. This event features a brand new limited time mode called The Getaway, a new wildcard outfit with selectable styles, and a free set of challenges. Today, as you can see, we're taking a look at the wildcard outfit inspired by the first 4 card suits. The outfit helps you dress for the job. All 4 masks are included with the outfit, so you can change to whatever style suits you. The outfit also comes with the cuff case back bling, and of course, there's the Safe Cracker glider, so you can fly in with style. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I don't think they're kidding, Jack.
Tomorrow we'll have a gameplay reveal of the Getaway limited time mode and a brand new item coming to the game that I'm happy to say is called the Grappler. Oh my goodness! I can only imagine what I'm about to be doing with that thing for the Cliffs.
Epic's always kind of sprinkling a new thing, changing the way that gameplay evolves every single time they deploy a new item. But I got to say, so they're going to add in the Grappler. At any point, if they happen to vault the drum gun, I might single-handedly blame 72 hours after yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, I already have a ton of love for the impulse grenades, the shockwave grenades, but if the Grappler is like what I think it's going to be, I don't know. Those could be dethroned. Those could be dethroned. I just love anything with movement that spices up plays. You can get your normal limbs, but I can, impulse above the guy and make something cool happen, or shockwave across half the map.
We've seen a number of those movement style items. Those are the things that change the way that players play, the way that they've developed their own gameplay. Because if you have the ability to traverse a base that your opponent's built, maybe you're stuck in a very vertical 1v1, those movement items, they can help you apply pressure at the right times. They can make it so that you have the advantage suddenly over your opponent. The Porter Rift is a great example, an item that you're stuck underneath somebody, you're very low on materials.
Yep.
You pop that thing, and suddenly you have a top-down view of everybody.
Absolutely.
And you get to choose where you land, and you can catch a lot of people off guard with that.
No, the Rift to Go is one of the more unique items that have added to the game. The Rifts in general, when you think of all the movement items that have been added to this point, it lets you just change up entirely how you rotate, where you spawn on in. I think it's given the ability, especially in competitive matches, to land at those extreme outskirts and then play around. Oh, I'll get an ATK. Oh, I'll hopefully get a Rift to Go. Oh, I'll use a shopping cart or something like that. Bounce pads let you speed up your movement. Obviously, just rifts on the map in general. It's went from, you know, people trying to land closer towards the middle and play in those zones because you don't really have a lot of movement options, to now, like, I'm going Flush Factory. See you later. I don't care if the zone's in the northeast part of the map. I'll find something to get me over there.
It feels like every corner of the map at this point is relative. It can be part of the game. You can play to that position no matter where the circle might end up. Because, like you said, those rifts that are already spawned, you have the Rift to Go item. You have all these different ways to traverse the map. You never really feel stuck.
Yep.
And that's why, as we've watched the Battle Bus at the beginning of each of these matches, you see the players are spreading across the entire map. It's not just one side. It's not just right under the bus. It's not the more populated areas. It's everywhere, and that's part of competitive gameplay that if you're watching from home, you should take note of. All the little spots that players drop, those are all relevant. It doesn't have to be a POI. It doesn't have to have the name. There are a lot of little chainable rotations you can land in and hit these spots and consistently get loot, resources, materials, and everything that you need. And the movement is still available. Your ability to relocate on the map, that is one of the biggest things about competitive play that I think some players don't realize, is that everywhere on the map is viable.
Oh, yeah. Think of yesterday. We were watching that little town south of Paradise Palms at the very bottom of the map. You wind up going there. We call it Westworld or whatever, you know, the outskirts little town. Like 4 or 5 people were landing there. Some of our top elim players were going and getting early game engagement wins. And next thing you know, these guys have 3 elims when there's still 60 left. They've earned themselves a point, and that might be enough to put them on through to the next round to earn their spot in that final qualifiers. Again, for everyone at home, we appreciate your patience getting a couple things sorted here behind the scenes. Use that hashtag SummerSkirmish that we mentioned earlier on. We should hopefully be getting into the game here soon. Either way, things we've talked about, this high-stakes LTM.
I'm excited. I want to steal that llama, man.
I feel like it's like the perfect way to send us off in Season 5 to whatever is to come with the Cube and Season 6. We were watching games earlier here in the venue. People were freaking out because it was in the low gravity zone by the Cube. So, like, fights were going on, people like floating around. It completely changed, so the battles wound up going, and it was just so funny to see, like, people try to hit snipes and try to build based off it. It was a completely different game in that just one area by Fatal. Hopefully we'll see a little tease of that tonight. Who knows?
What do you think the Cube is going to do next, Jack?
I want, like, another event like when the rocket launched. I saw people thinking, like, what if someone broke out of it and everyone in the lobby had to fight against it? How cool would that be? It's like, oh no.
Pickaxe only.
For one time in Fortnite Battle Royale, it's a piece between everyone in the lobby against one item. Whatever comes out of the purple cube.
Jack, I feel like you would still be the guy to go after eliminations in the middle of a fight. You would completely ignore it.
Like that guy who, when the rocket went off, shot down the structure and
has the single game elimination record right now because he knocked down the structure and got all of those knockdowns.
Man's an opportunist. Smart play. It's a smart play.
That's an intelligent gamer, Jack.
Either way, though, again, guys, getting into the action here momentarily, waiting to see exactly where production stands with it. Either way, though, I believe we have Zeke, who's going to be talking about his experience.
What do you mean you believe you have me?
There you go. There he is. I'm sorry. I can't trust you.
What do you mean you believe you have? Look, just because you got 31 points, okay? Everyone watching, he cheated. Lupo, back me up on this.
Yeah, I got to go. Zeke, I'll be right back.
Guys,
sorry,
look,
Zeke.
First off, you guys are amazing. Everyone watching, thank you guys for tuning in. How are you guys doing, Courage and Lupo?
Oh, we're fantastic up here. I was scared for you, Zeke, because you've had a long day. You've been doing the heat casting, and now you're doing this for the interviews.
Dude.
You were right over there.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long day, and we've been here the first 2 days of PAX. I'll be here tomorrow to cast those heats as well. We've seen a lot of different action all day, and to kind of touch on the action we've seen during the day, it's almost like I'm watching basically the Summer Skirmish games that you guys have competed in. You know, every time we flip to a new player, it's someone that I recognize, and the action is nonstop. With this new format, I mean, Courage, I think we talked about it a little bit on the break, but this lends itself to, I mean, just high action, and it also plays to the strengths of players that want to, like, survive toward the end of the storm, and, I mean, it also lends itself to Slayers, right? But we have a short little highlight reel coming in right now. So we'll have to check that out. Again, you guys are amazing, so check this out.
sorts of elims going on there earlier today. A look at this packed house live from PAX West for day 2 of the Summer Skirmish. Grand Finals qualifiers. There's so many things you can call it. Either way, though, it's the last week of Summer Skirmish action.
8 weeks and $8 million total. With this weekend culminates in $1.5 million for everybody that makes it to the Grand Finals. No matter what place you get, you come away with a minimum of $5,000. That's crazy. That alone is I consider that a victory. You make it to the Grand Finals, that's a win in my book.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And either way, you know, some of the people that are sitting in those beanbags right now, they could be our winners tomorrow if they register and follow the rules to be able to participate, just to give everyone a brief refresher at home. Here's how it works. Step 1, you drop in and sign up. You say, oh, we're going PAX West. You land, you get here. You come to PAX Lot 73 with your PAX West badge. You say, hello, I'd like to compete. It's very early in the morning we do that. You enter the registration line and sign up. Then it's step 2. You get told what time to be there. You show up. It's pretty easy. You're a functioning adult. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. Then you play. You hope to qualify, make it through the heats, qualify for the nightly qualifiers, and then potentially be the top 33 to make it on through to that Grand Finals on Monday. There's a lot of information, I know.
It is.
The format, though, Ben, break it down for us.
So, Courage, if you make it into the heats, the qualifiers are all the way to the Grand Finals. The scoring is the same. The heats each day, there are 3 heats a day. Each heat is 2 matches. The qualifiers, which is this evening, that's what we're getting ready to enjoy. It's 4 matches. And the Grand Finals on Monday is 6. Now, scoring is done based both rank and elimination. If you get 1 or 2 eliminations, you don't get any points, but it does go towards the tiebreakers, which we'll cover here in 1 second. But if you did 3 or 4 eliminations, that's 1.5 or 6, you get 2 points. And if you get 7 or more elims, that's 3. Now, if you get a top 10 at a minimum, that's 1 point. If you get 2nd or 3rd, that's 2 points. And if you get the Victory Royale, that's 3 points, Courage. Now, I mentioned the tiebreakers. They are determined in the following order: the total Victory Royales, the number of eliminations during the entire event, and then your average placement across all the games you played. And if all of those are the same, it comes down to a coin flip.
I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. It would be quite interesting to see how it all plays out. Thank you for that refresher, though. Again, all that money on the line as well.
Of course.
We won't be seeing anyone compete for money quite yet tonight. That's Monday, but the players are competing for a spot to participate at that point. Either way, though, we mentioned a lot of big names here. One from yesterday, 72 hours, so impressive. The amount of times he plays in the top, I mean, this is someone we've seen dominate throughout the skirmishes. What is it about his play you think that just makes him so good? The
level of awareness he has of his opponent's position using sound cues, which is hugely important in competitive gameplay, especially in Fortnite. Yep. You'll see that in any game. Fortnite is no exception. And his knowledge of when to make movements on his opponents if they're in disadvantageous positions. We saw him rotate outside into the zone, which is a play that not many players would think to do in the moment. But we've actually seen it a number of times here. He wasn't the first one, and I guarantee you today and tomorrow he will not be the last.
You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. I believe we are just moments away from getting into game number 1. Right now, there's some big names participating tonight. I believe we'll have Myth involved in these games, Poach as well. You know, teammate of 72 Hours there on Liquid. I think he's my front runner.
Really?
I think Poach is my guy I'm looking for.
He's put on a good show a number of times in the past.
I said it was Vivid last night and potentially spoiled it all for him.
Don't give him the Caster's Curse, Courage, please.
I might be doing it again here. There's a look at the venue. All the players packed on in. The Fortnite Summer Skirmish, 8 weeks of competition, has brought us to this point. And I believe there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's game 1.
Day 2, the final week of Summer Skirmish, Jack. And we have a northwest to almost a top center bus path. And you see already, like I said before, we were talking about long-range drops. Anywhere is basically eligible. It's all valid. One thing that you will see, do you see in the bottom left on the map right there, that you have a number of players dropping out over the ocean. The reason they do that, for anybody that doesn't realize, your parachute opens in the game, the glider opens based on your elevation relative to the ground. And so what they're doing is trying to drop over the water because the elevation of the ground is as low as possible, which means they get a really late parachute drop. Yep. That gets them to the drops, the loot locations faster. We're going to take a look in the bottom right there.
That's why they pay you.
That's
Lupo.
Thank you, Jack.
Because you explained that.
That's TSM Myth. You have a number of players floating in around them. You can still see the map there. A lot of players still floating to the east, southeast side. We talked about Paradise Palms. We got Myth here dropping into the center Dusty Divot. location that has changed a number of times over the seasons. And he starts out here, attack, some shield. It's time to take a look around.
Can't complain about that as we swap on perspectives to Jumpman, who's all the way at Valhalla, as I like to call it, Viking Village for some. At the top side of this map, a lot of benefits actually to landing up here, Lupo, and a lot of them are for that reason right there. You see right next to Jumpman, that rift that can just get him out of any bad scenario. Saf, who's up top of them, we just saw the inventory, already has a scar. So if this man gets into any sort of a ranged battle, I think it's going to spell disaster.
It's going to be tough. Jumpman does have the hunting rifle, which you won't see a whole lot of late game from a majority of players, but unless they're feeling very adventurous. Typically, late game in competitive matches turns into like a very CQC fight. But Erico taking Double down with a single shot there. A couple of these players, they're going to be names that you will see again, because if they played in the heats and made it into the qualifiers but did not get into the grand finals on Monday, they're given the opportunity to jump back in and push through a heat again if they have the chance.
You get here early enough.
Exactly.
You get here early enough, go for it, I think is the thought process there. But it looks like Jumpman will be getting into this engagement with Saf, who's just above him, using that high ground. No player having any shields, but I would say the inventory has to favor Saf here. The scar, the blue pump. He's got a hunting rifle as well. Not a lot of materials, though, Lupo, to work with.
No shield for either of those players, and they're going to try and a little bit of explosive play here to see if they can bump one another out from any sort of any cover they're in underneath. Trying to rotate around Saf, trying to get a smack in so we can get one more until he's out. He cannot build now, which means an engagement is forced. The trap play, and Saf goes down. Jumpman.
This is from the lower side of the map at Flush Factory. There's Nazgul with the quick pump shotgun shots to eliminate his opponent. The crowd gets a little bit behind him there. You'll love to see it. Now swapping on over to the complete, eastern side of the map.
Jay Cuddy taking out King with the tack shotgun, gray or not.
Look at the reaction of the camera. Okay, I'm getting a feel for this.
That great tack, if you're close enough, if you're accurate enough, effectiveness is there. You just have to hit your shots, and now, we saw right there.
That's not the storm. That's the low gravity zone. By Fatal that's currently in play. This was happened because of the cube that's been rolling around. Quick little swap for Marshmallow to get that elim. No materials really left, but 200 HP. You got to be feeling pretty confident there. Storm Tiger, name seen online before. Going to go ahead and loop this chest just outside Tilted.
I believe I saw just on the feed. Liquid Poach was just eliminated, a name that we were discussing earlier, which is that's a big one to have go down when there's still 80 players, just under 80 players remaining in the game. But you have to remember, 3 more matches after this one. Saint is eliminated, someone we watched yesterday that was not able to make it to the grand finals just yet, but Storm Tiger took him out there. Out of materials, 7 and 5, and that's it. It hopes to grab a little bit, enough for one build.
Wow.
5 HP.
Oh my goodness!
The timing.
He's got to try to make something happen. Hit the sniper shot.
1 medal, 1 HP.
What? What?
Storm Tiger makes it all the way underneath.
Okay, and here's his opponent. Maxed health with a shotgun. Storm Tiger,
burst.
if you win this game, you're my dad. Okay.
And Jack,
you are not the father. The tests are back, my friend.
Jack, you're putting the caster curse coming out already. Wallhack Jack, a fellow member of Rogue, looking for an elimination here, but Teenage takes him out. Some very accurate mid-air SMG shots.
And one thing to remind everybody at home, if you've been watching the Summer Skirmish up to this point, we have not had a live crowd. Well, guess what? It is standing room only. And you can hear just how intense it is. A live look at the scoreboard. Again, we are running a full-functioning spectator feature here this weekend that catches us up to speed on where we are. Now, Ben, for everybody at home, let's remind them of how the points work. 3 to 4 limbs will earn you 1 point. Nobody yet at 3 limbs. So everyone's still sitting with a goose egg.
Lassy's the closest right now, though, with 2. But here we see Painful PvP pushing up, trying to see if he can get above his opponent. But there's a lot of building going on here. The triangles there, the pyramids. But he does have a top down. His opponent using those pyramids to double layer, trying to make his way in. But a lot of edit and replaces from Painful. The drop down, his opponent closes an edit behind him. The chase down. That tack shotgun coming in handy. He takes an elim from Siva there and picks up all his loot.
Was that not exactly what we talked about earlier on with the edits and how edits are basically 90% of high-level play? Both players trying to utilize them there. Unfortunately, only one can come out on top as we swap on over to Payday, who's just bouncing around.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you noticed that he's an Xbox controller player. You see the keybinds down at the bottom is the Y and the bumpers, which means we've seen a number of players show up with their controllers and stay toe-to-toe with anybody, and it's wonderful to see that. The competition is fierce on both the console and the PC side. Now, Cease is someone we've seen in the Summer Skirmish events a number of times. I've watched his gameplay. Very, very fast edits as we've seen in the past. But he's also scary accurate. Of course, I say that. The shotgun blast. A second one coming in. The jump over the top.
There's the edits you mentioned. Trying to just pull some last-ditch efforts with the clingers, but it's not enough. Payday does go down. It's a relatively clean fight from Cease. And the big thing to point out, too, as well, Lupo, look at the materials. Now, 800 wood, 430 brick. Great spot to be in so early in the game. You see Hysteria, the left side of your screen. He was someone who wasn't able to make it through yesterday through those qualifiers. Came back on through, got off early, and now he's back again.
Made it through the heats today to give it another shot, and they're down there in Greasy, but back over just southwest of retail. There's a pair of houses here that is a pretty common loot spot for players that don't want to hit a POI, but it looks like it's a pretty hefty drop here this time. Dr. David, a fellow doctor, trying to see if he can put some shots in.
Probably not legitimate as well. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Ben. We'll talk about that later on.
These drop-ins, you'll see some players even avoid building. I think his opponent was down underneath. That David gets third-partied.
Wondering, is he going to pop the Rift to go? Is he going to try to just use it as an escape tool?
He's going to escape. If right now he feels like he's in a bad spot and he does not use that Rift to go, I feel like that's a pretty big mistake. He has an opportunity to make a move here. Yep. He can pop them, and he does have bandages there to push himself up. He's going to be at 100 HP if he gets a chance to get all of those off. But we'll see here if Stark 2K decides to push or not. We have Amjov, Sean was taken again, another name we've seen, and Kevy back there in retail, and the Storm's going to push them out to the west. You're going to see some third party here in a second. This build fight as well is going to be maybe an opportunity to get a knockdown on somebody.
See, like it as he had to start just disengaging. And, you know, I was so confident in him in that last battle once I saw the kind of health that his opponent was at, but then I didn't kind of realize maybe his material count is low, and that's exactly what the scenario is on the opposite side of the map.
Megalomaniac 94. This is out at the hotel. The snipe shot. The headshot on Envy Scratch before going for the rift to make an escape because of the circle,
and
but
Scratch had maxed HP.
He did.
Megalomaniac only had 75. That was one of those where it's like, this kind of determines my whole game right here.
A headshot is everything, and he landed it. An excellent shot. Fuzzy, the top-down view, pushing down. This double barrel we've seen a number of times. One of the most chosen in competitive, most chosen shotguns in competitive games because just how close combat a lot of these fights are. You won't see a lot of players say no thank you to a double barrel. It hits so hard up close, you can make a definitive play very easily with it.
Right now, Fuzzy seems like he's not too confident in the engagement he finds himself in, just looking for maybe a reset in this fight. Quick little picture in the top right as you see Fuzzy just kind of jump out of frame saying, nope, not this time around, pal.
The top right there, like you said, Jack, is kind of, it was almost a cross-section of what was happening around Fuzzy as he was backing away, just so players can see the layers, the number of the angles, the ramps that get placed during these engagements. And you have to watch for every angle possible because his opponent could have pushed up, built up a little bit, and gotten the top-down view through one of those ramps and taken a shot on Fuzzy as he was backing out, but he was lucky enough that they did not do that. He's taking his opportunity to farm up a little bit and build up another material buffer. Kyle Smiles, this is another player I think we saw yesterday making a move away. A lot of intelligent disengaging, a lot of defensive building that is excellent to see in competitive matches because a lot of players see building most of the time as an aggressive way to play, pushing up on your opponents. But right now, even right here, he might potentially edit that once it finishes so he can peek through the structure and see if his opponent is pushing.
And the zone, you just heard that kind of noise, means, hey, it's about to push, slowly beginning to close on it. And this is actually a very, very awkward zone. You see it, half of the zone is the water. So no one will be there. How does that maybe change these scenarios, Dr. Lupo? Because we talk about gatekeeping all the time, but I feel like you've only got about 60% of that zone that's even in play.
not a whole lot of players are going to be coming from the north and northwest side just because of how thin the sliver of the map is that's left up there. You also have the southeast corner, which, if you saw the map earlier, is relatively sparse with players. But that northeast side, the largest push of players, and there's actually a fight going on outside there. Hopefully we can see that after the fact, depending on what happens with that. The two players fighting the storm. But there's just going to be a big wave of people coming into the river, which is extremely exposed too. If I were in a position northeast side of Shifty Shafts, I'd build a 1x1 up there. If I had a scope they are especially, or even just something I could tap fire with, take advantage of third-party situations, especially right now.
Oh, most certainly. As we continue to watch, Cub Smiles is setting up right now, swapping it over to Linane as he's got some remote explosives in hands, considering maybe dropping some on in there, but realizing, hey, that would probably cause some danger close splash damage to me as well. So maybe not my best play as of yet. There you go. Now his opponent beginning to build on up, try to fight for this high ground. The quick reaction from Linane as he continues to build on up, keeping the high ground advantage, not getting the high damage pump shots he might want. It looks like it's time to spray. SMG in hand, nothing as of yet. And now, a third party. A new challenger approaches as he will again look to kind of reset this fight. Do you stop and maybe just use the chug jug here?
Potentially, you see he's dropped down. He's taking an opportunity maybe to, like you said, use the chug jug. And one thing I want to point out is in the middle of that fight, he was using a pump action shotgun to try and blow through surfaces. And recently, Fortnite, there was a change to that. Shotguns don't do nearly enough damage to make it an aggressive play to use it to push through structures. The swap to an SMG in that situation probably would have been a better play because he would have been able to push more aggressively on his opponent who was trying to escape. So the shotgun choice, not enough damage. It just doesn't fire fast enough, and because of the change recently, it doesn't hit hard enough to make it an aggressive push through structure.
Now, quick note, I just looked down at my scoreboard. Remember when I mentioned 0 people had points yet? Well, guess what? Ghost Aiden just jumped up to 5 elims. 2 points already earned. Our leader at this point, and then Painful now at 3. Those are our only 2 players up to this point, Dr. Lupo, who have earned themselves some points on the board.
There are 3 other players currently alive that have 2 eliminations, 1 more elim, pushing them to the 3 to get that single point. That's Kevy, Fluffy, and Zachamp. If they could pull, like I said, 1 more elim.
And it's so important to mention, too, as we see how Painful got his 3rd elim. There it was. Jay Cuddy gets cut down. But the thing to bring up, we had our 33rd player qualify with 1 point yesterday. Aiden, with 5 elims, already has 2. This is just the beginning of game number 1 of the 4 we'll play. You got to think if you're Aiden right now, you're sitting pretty to potentially qualify for Monday's grand final.
The southeast side, you hear that launch pad at this point. Shivsy might want to keep his eyes up. An opponent launch padded either away. Painful, you see right there, and there it is. Flying his way out. That engagement probably a good one to back out of. Painful saw a number of different opponents coming in and saying, no, now's not the time for this.
The cube coming into play, the zone closing right on towards it. I'm so happy to see it. I want to see how it affects things. And
right through, he's watching. He's going to C4 out and drop the player in. He saw him directly above.
Tries to make some fancy plays happen. There's the quick build as well. Trying to protect from the 3rd party that's peeking on in. Still 200 HP for Linane. 0 elims to this point, so playing a little bit more of a passive game. Trying to use those audio cues, listen for where this player could be. I think he's got him spotted in the brick, and here comes more remote explosives. No! It's only an 8-point damage. There's the cleanup onto Ultra, but again, that 3rd party now popping on in. Linane's got to keep the action going, keeping the high ground. Try to spot with this pump. Only 24 more for wood. Thankfully, a ton of brick to use. Quick little peek, cheeky. The high ground secured again with the ramp. Drops that wall to block as well to be able to re-secure with that floor, and just like that, Linane has chipped away some damage, Lupo, while keeping the high ground.
Linane actually showed a really important skill that a lot of competitive players have utilized. Well, yes, obviously, but yeah, he jumped out to the on the right side, took the shotgun shot, and then built underneath him. He was going for the hit as fast as possible. He could have built and jumped out, but that might have cued his opponent to say, oh, you're building out here, you're going to push from that side, and he could have built a wall, but Linane said, nope, I'm going to jump to the air, take the shot first, and then we'll worry about building and stopping the drop.
This is actually Aiden from earlier. That was Aiden's 5th elim.
Fuzzy.
A brilliantly lightning quick edit. Back to the Linane fight, still in this engagement. The zone will slowly be closing on in. Yes, they're right on the edge, but they will have to move. Looks like That player just below is beginning that process of moving now, and Linane still wants us. The third party, though. This could spell disaster. Only 13 HP, and that storm's going to hit for a lot as it closes on in Lupo. Magnum Cade knows he's got someone just below, and there it is. Peekaboo. Linane will have to wait for game 2.
Well, Linane actually, Jack, he was on my flight, my second flight here.
I was actually not expecting that.
No, it's a fun fact. And this is his first time flying out of the country to come down here to Seattle to play in the Summer Skirmish.
Okay, Aiden has 7 elims. 7 elims, and there's still 32 left. We're about to have to add a whole new point category for this guy. Playing on controller. This kid's an absolute beast.
He's already got 3 points. We're at the point now where he might have to, he can play a little slower. He doesn't necessarily have to play for eliminations now because he's capped the number of points that he can get from elims.
Yep.
Now, that being said, don't forget, tiebreakers, one of the biggest pieces. Yeah, victory royales determine it first, but you're not going to see a lot of those, so eliminations count for everything. He could play slower, and 7 is a lot to sit on for this Courage.
Right.
Yesterday, we didn't see very many players hitting even double digits over the course of 4 games, so 7 is huge.
Here's a little replay from earlier on as Rogue 00 Flower. A little bit of a battle.
Shotgun shot there. Gets tendons during the rotation. He's got a minute here. That storm is going to start impacting gameplay decisions, though.
Sean, you see the low
the
gravity.
Floating, yep. They're close enough to the cube. This thing is really changing up how some players are maneuvering and maybe even throwing them off. The expectation to drop faster while you're jumping and trying to throw snipers and tap fire from ARs from a distance off, it might make it tougher because you're not necessarily moving in a way that you're used to. Now here's the leaderboard as we were talking about earlier. 3 other players hit 3 eliminations. That means 3 people have a single point apiece. But Painful PvP, the only one of those 3 that's still alive. Plus Aiden sitting pretty at 7 up top.
Back to the game now. Sean was taken, hiding, healing. Greasy Grove. One of my favorite areas on the map. You see that low gravity zone ending just outside that area. Players beginning to push on in. Aiden has made the move. So last we saw, Aiden was on the far side of the zone, had to make something happen. Well, he has. Still 31 players left. You can see the entire zone on this mini-map. Shows just how kind of slow played some of these guys are taking this to try to stay alive for that top 10.
Now you can see Aiden kind of sneaking around. I think he may have heard movement from the player above. You have to remember, even a weapon swap, you can hear that audio cue, and so Wheels up top, if there's change weapons at any point while Aiden's been in here, he will have heard him. You can hear the footsteps. There's movement happening. He knows there are people around him.
He's looking for more fights. This is the next zone. Is the first zone that will be, one of the full rotations that'll have to happen. It's half out of play. Tempo actually just got knocked out of this game by Cease. So
I gotta say, this might be some of the most aggressive in the middle of a rotation. Aiden just says, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I've got a player trapped outside, put himself in a 1-by-1, and he's making moves.
Look at these speed builds, turbo building, spinning around, placing walls. He's made it into the next zone again, out of metal, but still 1,500 plus materials to use to his name. Over to Levake, trying to edit on down. Player just above, a little bit of an awkward spot for him to be in. Uh-oh. Remember that trap? Remember that trap, Aiden?
There are a pair of them in there.
Remember that trap, Aiden? Place! Remember the trap? There it is!
But it wasn't Aiden. Bowman SC was the second trap, the one closer to the front door. You see the border around the traps tell you whether or not they're yours or not. And we saw when Aiden put one down, there was a second trap with a yellow border around there. There's an opponent.
I thought he was walking into Aiden's. Imagine that would have been his 8th limb. My goodness.
Magnum Cade. One of the few players I think that I've seen thus far holding on to a bolt action this late in the game. And it's funny to say late in the game. I shouldn't have said anything, but Chuck Nance, the shotgun play there. But this late in the game, there's 26 players remaining, and this is the first circle move. This is where the people on the east and south side, forced engagements are going to happen. Joystick in general going to run into each other. Bowman actually going down there in the southwest to Shivsy. Kevy taking out Stark Duque in the rotation in, but gets third party by Sean was taken.
Oh, and Sean just got a free launch pad placed right below him from an enemy, so he's going to use that to maneuver quickly towards the opposite side of the zone. Cease now building up to the high ground too. You see Hysteria still alive, Marksman still alive, Ghost Bizzle still in this. Those are some of the bigger names in competitive Fortnite. Still fighting in these last 22 spots in game 1.
Now, Velo Cody maybe pulling the first time I've ever seen somebody bunker up in the basement of Durburger. Usually a pretty common loot spot, but sticking yourself down in the basement, it could be rough. You're kind of bottlenecking everyone above you because obviously you can't mine out through the floor. Maiden pulling almost another Elim. Looks like there were 3 players in there because he took the shot, didn't get the Elim, and Vide, who got the Elim on his opponent, gets the follow-up.
There you go.
Excellent PBs there, but
crowd getting behind Aiden, it seems like.
Absolutely, should be proud. 3 points already.
Yeah, definitely our leader up to this point, but back to the action. Zone will close soon. Remote explosives in the hand of Sean. He's got 3 limbs, so 1 point for him earned so far. Looking for that quick little third-party peek. Does a little bit of damage. He's closest to this next zone. And Lupo, well, why is this the best positioning as we move toward this next one?
He's in a great spot because at this point, the remainder of the players, they're going to have to move the furthest. Now, his structure just got shot down a little bit on the left side, but he can third party. He can watch for rotations. He has a purple AR, which is excellent.